Okay. Ek moet sê, dis altyd lekker om laaste te praat, jy weet, jy moet almal match. En ek sê nou sarkasties, want hoe tappel mens babas wat van Tabelberg afval, ek bedoel, magic trick met scripts, en julle klasleiers, baie mooi gepraat, I'm proud of you guys. And can I quickly hear, is Giovanni here today? Where? Can I quickly bring him to the stage? Hy wil 'n woordjie sê. Jy nie kan vang. Oeh. Sy mes Giovanni geskeer vir vandag. Is hy mooi? Okay. Hy lyk mooi, wat dink julle? Okay. So, hier gaan ek vir die laaste keer. Good morning, Wolfpack. There you go. I said it for the last time, and honestly, I have no clue how I will open any of my future speeches, because I've always fell back on that catchphrase, good morning, Wolfpack. But anyways, that's my problem. Here we are, Matrix, the day we've been dreaming of. The long walk of freedom is completed, or almost, hopefully. There's no more first days, and no more last days. And most importantly, no more being terrorized by the back-to-school advertisements the day Christmas ends, when there's like a month of school left. And I can be honest, I can sense that there's mixed feeling about the end of high school. Obviously, I spoke to all of you, and my deduction is that there's like a group that just can't wait to write that last sentence on that last piece of paper and go. Then there's that group who can't even focus on the end of high school because they're so focused on the most important exams of their careers. So they get like tunnel vision. And then there's also that group, and I would say I fall into that group, where you still need to find the exam roster somewhere on Teams because you gaslighted yourself into believing that, you know, finals is going to be a cruise because prelims was very difficult. And people, you know, our parents and our older siblings, they told us that, don't worry, man, finals is going to be easy. But I don't know to trust that, guys, because the same people that told us that grade 12 is a repeat of grade 11 is the people telling us that finals is going to be easier than prelims. All right. Quickly, my plek vind dat ek nou nie iets skiep nie, jy weet. Okay. But ultimately, I think we all can agree on the fact that we are excited about the next phase of our lives. Maybe unsure, very unsure. I mean, how many of us are taking gap years? You see, but we are, what you're excited about, you see. And if I must be honest, somewhere in this year, I think after or before the June exams, I really started looking forward to the next phase, like wishing it on. And at first, I really felt like a betrayer because you guys know me. I was passionately advertising and promoting school and this school to people wherever I go. And now I want to go, you know. But after some ranting in Mrs. Swart's class, like we often did, she blessed me with some knowledge, as she also often did. I call her the unpaid therapist of the school. You see, she made me realize that if your matrics do not want to leave at the end of their final exams, something drastically went wrong somewhere along the way. It only becomes a concern if your grade 8s want to leave after their first exams. So last night, as I was preparing my valedictory speech, and where's Miss Aman? It is very moeilijk, you know, it's I'm not too good at saying goodbye, so I had to think a lot about this speech. And I kept on asking myself the question, what made our matric group stand out? You know, what was our character trait? What was our flavor? And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I started writing this speech at 12 o'clock, and it only hit me at the end of the evening of excellence, and it hit me hard. I would say we had groups of the pockets of excellence that excelled on literally every every terrain. God was very fair when He gave us all our talents. I mean, on all fronts. We had athletic swimmers, chess players, athletic chess players. We had talented people on the rugby fields, hockey fields, cricket pitches, right through to the stages, to our working desks and the academics. And personally, I have to say, my hockey team, we were blessed with probably 5 of the most talented hockey players. You guys have to figure out among yourselves who those 5 were. But a special mention to Caleb and Keegan, because geez guys, sometimes you guys made me feel like I was spectating my own hockey match. And it's not because you guys didn't like to pass the ball, it's just genuinely you didn't have to pass the ball. So, and then to the theatre, I can't mention all of you because it's going to be a very long list, but I don't think this world is ready for our talent and our attitude. Our attitude, they're not ready for it. And then academically, I always found it interesting. We had an interesting dynamic because our top 3, they were always very tight, you know, high 90s, high 80s. But for some reason, in meneer Pienaar kan saamstem met hierdie, our averages, our top 10 averages, always started the lowest out of all of the grades, you know? And I always gaslighted myself and told myself, you know, I can remember in grade 10, I'm like, you know, it's just because there was a big gap and a jump from grade 9 and therefore, you know, we struggled a bit and that's why we started off low. And then grade 11, the same thing happened and, you know, people told me that grade 11 is the most difficult year, so I believed them. And ultimately, I can't complain because it made making the top 10 seem possible. So thank you guys. Even though I didn't make it most of the time, but thank you guys. And even though I'll be able to sit here and speak about some of our interesting social dynamics, I believe I know too little to truly make a fair analysis. That's baie wat daar aangaan. But one thing I can say for sure is one day for our reunion, there's going to be a lot of stories and different stories and interesting stories. And even though I would highly commend our grade on promoting and growing the gees of the school and focusing on traditions, matrics, our VIC could just never be the loudest. You know, so we have to make up for it now for the school song. You guys promise? Pinky promise. Okay. But nonetheless, I feel it is worth mentioning that I feel we got robbed for the Geeskap. En ek gaan nie ou koeie uit die sloot uitgrawe nie. Ek gaan nie argumente begin nie. Al wat ek sê is, it's impossible for Kira Durbanville to lose the Geeskap 2 years in a row. So next year, you will see me on the stage, on the stands, in my school clothes, receiving the Geeskap with you guys, because we deserve it. Okay. We deserve it. Alright, so that would be my goodbye wish for the rest of the school. May we be a martyr. May we be the reasons you seek revenge next year. Alright. Then, my ma'ams and sirs, I also want to give you a special thank you for not only surviving us, but also for your heartfelt effort you put in, for shaping us into the individuals we are. At the end of the day, you are the ones that impacted our lives and prepared us for the next step. You are the ones that made us ready to face whatever our future entails and equipped us to move on to the next season. So basically what I'm trying to say is, you guys are the reason we are leaving. But genuine matrix, I realized last night that we can now finally make those promises about never handing in projects late from this point, ma'am, and never going to forget about the important homework ever again, ma'am, since there's not a lot of time to disappoint them at this stage. So from my side, I want to promise all of my teachers, I won't be late for a single one of your classes for the rest of my life. Okay, and especially goes out to meneer Bernardi, my registered teacher and my accounting teacher, so hy het baie moeilikheid gehad. Ms. Swart, Mrs. Swanepoel and Ms. Aman. And then for Mr. Clark, my Afrikaans teacher, I would also like to make the promise that I will never keep Liam out of his work again for the few days that he actually makes it to school. Then lastly, Miss Hutton, my surname twin, she was a very wise woman, and I want to thank her for all her wisdom and patience. And I think her patience, Landon played a big role in the patience. And then something I always find ironic, and we could see it this morning with Mr. Adam opening, being the spiritual leader of the school. The math department always has this philosophical side to them, you know, and you guys do numbers. But I think, and I thought about it last night, and it actually makes sense, because if you're surrounded by a bunch of suffering, you know, sad, miserable teenagers in class, you start finding the meaning for life, you know? So yeah. So where's Miss Hutton? My promise to her is, I've hit rock bottom now with my math mark. And there's only up from here, man, I promise, I swear. Alright. Then lastly, I want all the matrics to just look around. Just look around, look at each other's faces. Yeah, we might be tired of them by now, but just appreciate them for the last time. And acknowledge the people around you right now, and realize that they will be the reasons you will have everlasting memories of your high school career. So thank them, even those you have a little bit of beef with. Thank them for being the iron that forged you into being the iron you are today. Okay, dis amper daar, julle byt vas, ons aan die klok slaan, nie mekaar nie. And from my side, I want to thank you for making serving this grade and this school the biggest honor I could have dreamt of. This ever-daunting task was made a joy solely because of you. Solely because of you. Miss what? Which one is it? Okay. Each one of you holds a sacred place in my heart that I will cherish and remember forever. So thank you.